What's up, YouTube? Leather Jacket John here, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I did my last video. Just been pretty busy with work and life and everything. It's slowed down for me. It's summertime. I always have a lull in the summer months with my work, so I have more time to do videos. So hopefully, besides this one, I'll be doing some more videos very shortly. I started off the channel talking about Schott, and I talked about the history, and I did a try-on video with all my vintage Schott jackets, but that only went back to the very late 50s with my ribbon label Schott Perfectos, and at the time I did not own any of the original Perfectos, which are the earlier 50s and late 40s horsehide black label Schott Perfectos. Those were the original ones. So yeah, at the time I did not have any. Since that video, I've acquired 4 of those jackets. And just like the ribbon label, there are differences. There's 2 different versions of the label, and details are slightly changed from year to year. None of these fit me, unfortunately, so I won't be doing a try-on of these jackets, but I will be talking about the different labels and then slight variations on details. So let's go ahead. Alrighty. So here are the 4 jackets. Get this out of the way. All right. So there are 2 main versions, and it has to do with the label. There is the earlier version with this label right here. It is well, how should I go about this? All right, I guess I'll show you the other version. This is the other version. Actually, let's do this one, as the label is in better condition. So there are 2 versions, this one and then this one. So the main differences between these 2, this is a smaller label, and I forget exactly the dimensions, and this is bigger. This is the earlier one. This is the label that you will find on very, very old Schott jackets. Schott jackets that are not the Perfecto, that are not, I call it Perfecto, right? But these jackets technically are not named Perfecto. Perfecto is just their line of leather jackets. And in fact, this label, pretty much from like the mid-30s all the way up until the late 40s, this label was present on a bunch of different style of jackets, but never this. So Perfecto doesn't refer to this design, which is the classic, we know it today as a 613. Back in the late 50s, starting with the ribbon label, it was known as the 618. But starting in the late 40s, they came up with this design and put this smaller horsehide label that they had. Again, it later, in the early 50s, changed to the bigger horsehide label. So, as far as details, all of these jackets have what I call the 50s details, which are the rounded epaulets. When I say rounded, I mean the end. It's not pointed, it's not straight blunt cut, it's rounded, and it's double stitched. And all of them are like that. These 2 early ones, this later one, again, rounded, same thing. Double stitched, you see the double stitching? And it's rounded. They all have the double stitching around the shoulders. All right, that's another feature. of these jackets. And then they all have French seaming everywhere. As you can see, there's gonna be French seams right there, right here, and of course on all of the back of the jacket. All right, they all have the loose gusset for the sleeve, all of them. All right, as you can see here, oops, I'm trying to do this holding it up, so I apologize for the bad quality. All right, for the most part, they all have the miter buckle, or the where it's square and then the edges are cut off. This one has brass, which is kind of surprising. The zippers here are so oxidized that I can't tell. This one I believe was brass. These I'm pretty sure were brass. So that's kind of unique, as I've never seen that before on an old Schott Perfecto where it's brass. It's always you know, silver or nickel. So really the design is the same. It really is. And then the only other difference besides the size of the labels is the back. So these ones, these older ones with the smaller horsehide label, has a one-piece back. And then the one with the bigger label has the bottom kidney panel. As you can see here, bottom kidney panel, of course, again, you know, the French seams everywhere. And this has the one-piece back. They also fit differently. So that's pretty much it. Now when it comes to these older ones, if I look at the zipper, you can always date jackets by the zipper. It has Conmar running down the middle there. I'm not too familiar with Conmar, but the Talon equivalent, Conmar seemed to have kind of copied off of Talon. And the equivalent zipper for Talon would be late 40s. Same thing here. This is Conmar. Oops, there we go. So this is Conmar. It's the same zipper as Conmar down the middle there. That again, usually indicates late 40s. I know in my earlier video, I said that these jackets didn't come out until after the wild one. Well, I need to modify that. These do seem to have come out in the late 40s. Oh, one other thing. The stars. All right, I'll talk about the other thing later, which is kind of unique. Has to do with the belts. But anyway, this jacket came with stars. Stars were already on there. This one did not. Now, where is it? This guy, when I bought it, it did not have stars. Not sure if you can see that, but I added those. You can tell that they're a little bit newer than the rest of the jacket. However, you can't see this here. So there weren't stars, but there was a ghost. There was the, you know, the outline of what used to be a star. So this jacket had stars and somebody took it off. And again, you could see the outline, and I put it back exactly where it originally was. This guy right here never had stars. You could kind of almost always see, you know, the outline or holes. And again, this guy just never had stars, ever. So that's kind of, you know, I want to say weird. Yeah, maybe weird that some of them came with stars and some of them did not. That's kind of like one of Schott's main claim to fame, and according to at least one account in the Schott book of a guy in 1956 saying that these jackets were known as 1-stars. So the fact that this one, an early one, doesn't have stars, never had stars, just says that they probably didn't, you know, when this first came out in the late 40s, let's just say between 1947 and 1949, probably those very first ones didn't have stars. That was something that was probably added a little bit later, and probably starting in the very, very early 50s, 1950, 1951. These jackets probably all came with stars. And then the other thing I was talking about the belt. So, first of all, just a difference. Oh yeah, a difference between the bigger label and the smaller label. The end of the belt on these guys, the bigger label ones, the later ones, are pointed. It's pointed. Same thing with this. These earlier guys are rounded. So that's another difference. And another difference, if you look at most motorcycle jackets, this part of the belt almost always goes this way. And you can see that here. The belt goes this way, the belt goes this way. Same with this guy. On this one, all right, so these are the same label, late 40s. These are the very, very early ones. You can see the belt goes this way. It's the only one I've ever seen like that, ever. They all go this way. So that's another kind of like weird little thing. By the way, all of these jackets do have size tags in the coin pocket. This is 1, 2, 3. These are all size 42s. And this guy, I'm sorry. Let me get back here. This one, and this one is a 42. This one is a 40. I'm a 36 in Schott. So again, can't wear these. But one thing I can tell you is that these older ones fit very, very short, as does this one. This one and these seem to have the same cut. It's hard for me to tell because when I put it on, it's very big on me, but I could still tell the length. This one fits different than these three. So, kind of weird how it changes, but it seems like it's a theme with Schott that they just make changes. It seems like every year. Let's just say this one is from 1948 and this one's from 1949. There's changes. So it seems like they just did changes all the time throughout their entire history. And they kind of always been tweaking it for one reason or another. So that's a theme, and it's a theme that holds true all the way back to the late 40s. So yeah, these are the originals. This is the original Schott Perfecto, and this is what, again, the earlier label looks like. The smaller, this is what the bigger, later horsehide Perfecto label looks like. Alrighty, hopefully, thank you, and hopefully you stay tuned for the next video.